Hello everyone. Welcome to Introduction to Computer Programming. I'm Audicor Joyce Chavez and let's start with our objectives. We'll be discussing the basic components of a computer, both hardware and software. We will also be giving a brief overview of programming language and the program development lifecycle. Finally, different number systems and conversions from one type to another will be discussed. For our objectives, you should be able to identify the different components of a computer, know about programming languages and their categories, understand the program development lifecycle and apply it in problem solving, and learn the different number systems and their conversions. For the introduction, let's begin with the computer. A computer is a machine that performs a variety of tasks according to specific instructions. It is a data processing machine which accepts data via an input device and its processor manipulates the data according to a program. The computer has two major components. The first one is the hardware, which is the tangible parts of the computer. It is composed of electronic and mechanical parts. The second major component is what we know as the software, which is the intangible part of a computer. It consists of data and the computer programs. There are basic components of a computer. First is when it comes to the hardware, again, it refers to the physical equipment or components of an electronic data processing system. The first basic components of computer under hardware is what we call the central processing unit or the CPU, which is known as the brain or the heart of the computer. It contains millions of extremely tiny electrical parts. It does the fundamental computing within the system. Examples of processors are what we call the Pentium, the Athlon, and Spark. The second components of a computer is the memory. The memory is where the data and instructions needed by the CPU to do its appointed task. It is divided into several storage locations which have corresponding addresses. The CPU accesses the memory with the use of these other addresses. The first is what we call the main memory. It enables a computer to store, at least temporarily, data and programs. The main memory is very closely connected to the processor, and it is also sometimes called the random access memory or RAM. The computer's memory, main memory, is considered as volatile storage. This means that once the computer is turned off, all information residing in the main memory is erased. The secondary memory is the second types of memory. It is connected to the main memory and it is used to hold programs and data for long-term use. We have examples here of the secondary memory. We have the flash, floppy disk, the zip disk, CD, the DVD. We also have the hard disk. The secondary memory is considered as non-volatile storage. This means that information residing in secondary memory is not erased after the computer is turned off. Let's see the comparison between the main memory and the secondary memory in terms of speed. The main memory is more faster than the secondary memory. In terms of price, the main memory is expensive than the secondary memory. In terms of capacity, the main memory is low and the secondary memory is high, and the volatile is for the main memory is yes, and of course for the secondary is memory is no, which means that even though the computer is turned off, the data or the information residing in that memory will not be erased. We also have here the input and output devices. The input and output devices allows a computer system to interact with the outside world by moving data into and out of the system. We have the different input devices like keyboard or mouse. This device is the channel through which data and instructions enter a computer. For the output devices, we have a display screen, a printer, or other such devices that lets you see what the computer has accomplished. Another components of computer is the software. It is the program that a computer uses in order to function. It is kept on some hardware device like hard disk, but it itself is tangible. The data that the computer uses can be anything that a computer needs. Programs acts like instructions for the processor. There are different types of computer programs. First is the system's programs. Programs that are needed to keep all the hardware and software systems running together smoothly. Example are the operating systems like Linux, Mac OS, Solaris, Unix, and Windows. The second types of computer programs is known as the application programs. These programs that the people use to get their work done. Examples are the word processor, spreadsheets, or the game programs. The third is the compilers. The computer understands only one language, which is the machine language, is in the form of ones and zeros. Since it is highly impractical for people to create programs out of zeros and ones, there must be a way of translating or converting a language which we understand into machine language. For this purpose, there exist compilers. Now, there are also different types of computers. The first is the personal computer. Let's discuss first the personal computer. It is a small, single user computer based on a microprocessor. In addition to the microprocessor, PC has a keyboard for entering data, monitor for displaying information, and storage device for saving data. And this is an example of a PC or a personal computer. The second is the workstation, powerful single user computer like a personal computer, but it has a more powerful microprocessor and higher quality monitor. Third is we have the mini computer, or this is a multi-user computer capable of supporting 10 to hundreds of users simultaneously. So this is an example of a mini computer. The fourth one is we have the mainframe, a powerful multi-user computer capable of supporting many hundreds of users simultaneously and basically used by banks, airlines, and insurance company. And we also have the supercomputer, an extremely fast computer that can perform hundreds of millions of instructions per second and used by government agencies. These are an example of a supercomputer. Now, what are the different functions of a computer? The first is to receive an input. It accepts information from outside through various input devices like keyboard, mouse, and so on. After receiving an input, it will now process the information. It performs the arithmetic or either the logical operations on the information. After processing the information, of course, it will produce an output. Communicate information to the outside world through output devices like monitor, printer, etc. After that, it will store the information in the storage devices like the hard disk, the floppy disk, and so on. So these are the different functions of a computer. Again, to receive an input. After receiving an input, it will process the information, and it, of course, after the processing, it will produce an output and store it in a storage devices. Again, the CPU or the central processing unit is the part of computer that executes program instruction is known as the processor or the CPU. The CPU has two parts. First is the control unit and the second is the ALU. The control unit tells the rest of the computer system how to carry out a program's instructions. Now, the ALU or the arithmetic logic unit performs two types of operations, either arithmetic and logical. So that's it for now. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.